How did Spain, a dry, barren and impoverished land that lacked most natural advantages, grow into one of the largest empires the world has ever seen? Let's understand the story of how a small nation played such a huge role in shaping the world as we know it today. The Iberian Peninsula, or Hispania, was under Roman rule from the 2nd century BCE, and by the late 4th century, Christianity was the official religion of the Roman Empire. Plagued with internal problems and strife, the Roman Empire collapsed. The peninsula came under the rule of different tribes, and by the end of the 6th century, the Visigoth tribe had occupied almost the entire region. During this time, Islam was spreading rapidly. With its origins in the Middle East, the religion soon gained a large following and began to spread across North Africa. Over time, the Visigoths developed their own problems. The once unified kingdom was now fragmented and weak. Muslim armies crossed over from Africa and by 718 had conquered the entire peninsula, except for a small region in the north, the last pocket of Christian resistance. The regions held by the Caliphates were known as Al-Andalus, or Islamic Iberia. After the fall of the Umayyad Caliphate, Al-Andalus was fragmented into a number of minor states. Attacks from Christians intensified, and towards the end of the 11th century, there began a gradual decline of Muslim power. The history of medieval Spain was dominated by the Reconquista, as these wars were called, and by the 15th century, Muslim tribes or Moors had been pushed all the way south to their last stronghold of Granada. During this time, the region was divided amongst the Christian crowns of Castile, Portugal, and Aragon. The Emirate of Granada, the last Muslim stronghold, was now surrounded by Castilian lands. The powerful houses of Castile and Aragon were united when Isabella of Castile chose Ferdinand, heir to the crown of Aragon, as her husband. A Spain that was Castile-Aragon was now established and ruled over by husband and wife, who were bestowed with the title of the Catholic monarchs. The crown of Castile, now freed from civil war, embarked on a journey of conquest within Spain and outside. Ferdinand and Isabella's forces entered Granada in 1492. The city fell, and with it came an end to Islamic rule in Spain. The same year, and merely 6 miles from Granada, Ferdinand and Isabella agreed to finance the voyage of Christopher Columbus. He set off into the unknown and became the first known European since Leif Erikson to discover the Americas. Soon, tales of riches and the legend of El Dorado spread across the Spanish Empire. With adventure in their hearts and gold on their minds, explorers set out for this new world. Joanna, daughter of Ferdinand and Isabella, was married to Philip of the House Habsburg, son of the Holy Roman Emperor. 2 powerful houses were now united through marriage. Their son Charles would go on to inherit both the Spanish Empire as well as the Holy Roman Empire, making him the most powerful man in Europe. He even sanctioned the conquest of the Aztec and Inca empires. The Indian population were enslaved and forced to work on the land. It was the first empire on which it was said that the sun never set, and it laid the foundation for European colonialism. At its height, the empire included territories on every continent then known to Europeans, including even the Philippines. The resulting vast expansion of territory and the flows of South American silver to Castile had profound long-term effects on Spain. Inflation was on the rise. On one side was the threat of a rapidly growing Ottoman Empire, and with it, a renewed fear of an Islamic invasion. On the other was deteriorating relations with France, as well as the Protestant Reformation. These wars dragged the kingdom even more deeply into debt, and by the end of it, Philip II, son of Charles, had to declare bankruptcy. In the later half of the 17th century, Spain went into gradual decline, during which it surrendered several small territories to France and the Netherlands. It was even forced to recognize the separation of Portugal. However, it maintained and enlarged its vast overseas empire. The decline culminated in a controversy over succession to the throne. The War of Spanish Succession was a wide-ranging international conflict, combined with a civil war, that cost Spain its position as one of the leading powers on the continent. Do watch our next video to find out what happens next.